All right, here we are, 10:03. Sorry, I had to put out a tweet, an Instagram post saying I was live streaming. Welcome, everybody. If you are in the United States, it's Martin Luther King Day. So, happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. It is a national holiday, and I'm taking this time to do some live streaming of some drawing. I just returned yesterday from the nation's capital, where we had a very unique and interesting celebration. Actually, I can start drawing so you guys don't have to just watch me ramble on. But it was a really cool event this past weekend, partly in honor of Martin Luther King. Obviously, there to promote a new CW show called Black Lightning. But it was really cool because it was a very unique kind of event that was put on by the Warner Brothers TV group and DC Entertainment. And like I said, it was in the nation's capital, which I hadn't been to since the 90s. I think mid-90s is the last time I did a store signing in Georgetown. And obviously, given all that's been going on politically, it was very interesting to be in the nation's capital, not too far from Congress, the White House, the Trump Hotel, where I believe someone projected some imagery onto. I missed that, unfortunately. And then so DC unveiled this pop-up store, which is a huge 40-foot by 10-foot container that basically unfolds like a real-life transformer. And inside, there's an area to sign. There are all these pockets to which they're what we call our essentials catalog, probably like the most important 50 to 100 trade paperbacks of our most successful, both commercially and critically acclaimed books. There's an area where essentially design your own hero, which kind of walks you through the way comic books are put together, from script to art to inking to color. There's an area which has like some of the most important DC covers, and they're very large. I think they're like 5 foot by 7 foot. And so, if you ever go to like Pottery Barn or any of these stores that sell furniture, they oftentimes have carpets or rugs hanging up, and you can kind of, slide through or kind of shuffle through the different ones. And they had all these great DC covers blown up so that you can kind of stand in front of it. Sort of a social media kind of tool to integrate yourself into the art. And what else did it have? It had, a Jitters free coffee. Jitters is like the brand that's in the comics and some of the CW shows. It's like the Starbucks of the DC universe, I guess. And there's a little outpost there at the end of the pop-up store, and they're giving away free coffee. And the funny thing is, the first day was, I think, like 70 degrees, and I was dressed for it being very cold because that's what I had read that the weather would be like. So like I'm like literally sweating the first day. It was so hot, and really had kind of bundled up in the cab ride over. And it was super warm in there. And the next day, it dropped down to 30 degrees. And I was ready. That day, I was super prepared. I had 2 coats on, a scarf, and they decided to have the signing inside the lobby of the building that we were adjacent to, which was the Newseum, which is a pretty cool museum dedicated to journalism. And so the first day I signed by myself. The second day I signed with Jeff Johns. And that second day, there was a lot of programming that was essentially created a Comic-Con inside the museum. And they had different panels focusing on the African American experience, sort of seen through the filter, the lens of comic book creators, comic book history. There was one focus on LGBTQ. And women in comics as well. So there was, and then post stress disorder, PTSD, and all these different creators, writers, actors, really created an interesting mix of panelists. And I was able to sit in on most of the panels. I sort of sat at the very, very top. And it was very, very interesting. Okay, I need to do something. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I have something controlling. One second. How are you guys all doing? So it's been a busy day. So to get back in time to sort of have some semblance of a weekend, I took the 7 o'clock morning flight yesterday. So I had to get up at 5, which was 2 o'clock California time, if you think about it. So my whole sleep schedule was messed up this whole past weekend. So I'm looking for something. One second. There we go. I know what I can do. There we go. All right. Got a lot of activity. That's what I was trying to adjust the alert sounds. It was kind of loud, but I realized I could just turn down the volume of my headset. So, Kate has resubscribed. Thank you, Kate. Batman 4. Master Brento. 4-way flashers. Subscribed for 4 months. Thank you, 4-way flashers. He's also the one that created the Kleenex emote. So thank you very much for that. For both. Sneaks 7. Chuck Arnold 3000. Hey Chuck. X3 Throne. Oh, X Ronin. Sorry. The frustration of trying to illustrate my story has turned to pure joy. All thanks to you. I guess that's a compliment. Cryptic Games has resubscribed. Kuyamu has resubscribed, so I think I'm all caught up. Oh, there's a bunch more. Ren Elephant has resubscribed. Hey, Ren. Renee, as we like to call him. Porch. Boxster. He's got a lot of nicknames now. Carolyn Carnage. Vayet 23. Daniel Bosco. J.D. Mering have all resubscribed. So thank you guys. MTang1 has resubscribed. And user X745. Slap People for Fun has resubscribed. So thank you guys for that. I'm going to put my glasses on so I don't have to squint so much here. All right. So, all right, what do we got going on here? Yeah, I think everyone knows. Who do we have here in the house? Solace in Society. I met him at the event he came out. I think also Rain and Rain. She was the woman that was watching the stream last week in church. She came out to the signing as well. So I think there was another couple of you guys that came out as well. I'm blanking on the names, but it was good to see you. Oftentimes the people have regular names like Michael and Sam, whatever, Suzanne, whatever, but then their Twitch handles are like dagger in your back while your eyes bleed, or at, your soul. your soul is mine, you know. So it's hard to kind of reconcile the online handle with the actual persona. Resub happens automatically. All right. Church or gym, superhero swimmer. Well, obviously you can do both, right? That's ballsy, though, I think. I could see someone. That would be tricky. What else would be trickier than that? Maybe giving a panel or giving a talk while watching a stream. That would be pretty hard. Would not recommend it. Okay. Anyway, so this project. Okay, so not only was this pop-up store amazing, but the panels were amazing as well. And then we did there was a screening of Black Lightning, which I was very enjoyable. I think you guys are really gonna like the show. Very different kind of superhero show. If you guys are wondering, like, wow, there's so many now on TV. In that Black Lightning he's a middle-aged man. He's got two daughters, and I'm not going to spoil it, but basically the show starts out with he's basically has been in retirement for many years, and there's a reason why. And but there is such craziness going on in his city that he contemplates a return, and so it's kind of an origin story, even though Black Lightning has technically been around in this world for a while. It's just he's been kind of in hibernation, I guess. So as a father of many daughters, many children, I thought it was an interesting take, and it obviously focuses on family and not just his perspective, but other figures in the community. Obviously, there are many characters. Predominantly, all the characters are characters of color, but it puts people in different roles than I think people are accustomed to seeing, and it kind of challenges our notions of certain figures, authority figures, and it talks about personal responsibility and a lot of other issues, which I thought made it very interesting on a psychological level, above and beyond the action itself. Main camera is laggy. How can it be laggy? Is it laggy on my end or your end, guys? How would I know? All right, let's see if I can. Let me try something here. It doesn't seem laggy. Okay, great. That's good to know. It's fine to me. Okay, great. Thanks for letting me know. So this is Cyborg. Oh, so let me continue on. So the screening was great because afterwards they actually had all the principals of the show, the producers, the writer, and they talked about the show. And then there was a party, which is typical for after a premiere, but it was at the Smithsonian the Museum of African American History and Culture, and it is apparently a very, very hot ticket in DC to acquire, and we were all fortunate to have free access of the museum during the party. So it was very different in that people weren't just drinking and celebrating. People, I would say most of the people there really took the time to go through the museum. You couldn't drink, and you wouldn't want to. It's a very, very somber experience, and it's 3 or 4 floors of American history going all the way back to the 1400s, sort of explaining the origins of slavery, walking you through how it was first perceived and looked upon, and then how the business of buying and selling humans really, started, and the migration and the number of people. But then it actually gets into the economic kind of impact of all these slaves, the way they transformed the American economy, made it a global powerhouse, and then the origins of the rise to independence and freedom and equality, and how even the Revolutionary War, obviously the Civil War, and how all these wars kind of played a role, and how both the North and South had to rely upon African American soldiers and sort of what they use as bargaining chips to convince soldiers to fight on their behalf. And then obviously you get into the cultural impact, the historical impact through the decades, and then I would say like 3/4 of the way through the exhibit, there's this section that focuses on Obama, and has this gigantic picture of his inaugural, and you see him in the foreground, and then just a sea of humanity reaching out towards the Washington Monument, I believe, and where's the Congress? I don't know. It's an amazing photo, and there's a lot of great sort of objects of of history in the exhibit, so it's not just all text. And if you have the chance to go to Washington D.C. or you live there, I would really recommend trying to get a ticket way in advance to experience it. It was really thought-provoking and moving, and just unforgettable in many ways. All right. Yeah, there's a ton of movies. Like I hadn't seen Amistad, and I want to see that. Glory is great. I see them all though. There's the one even on the Red Tail. Red Tails. I think it was the name of it. Was about African American airmen during World War II. How they had their own unit, and very interesting stories that are often overlooked in traditional storytelling of American history. Okay. Why is Black Lightning's name Black Lightning? His electricity is blue. I agree with you. It's kind of a bluish black, but I think in general, he was created in the 70s, obviously, by Tony Isabella, who was also there at the show or at the event. And I think it was just that era. Black Panther, Black Lightning, it was a certain era of creating characters. Blaxploitation movies were in vogue, and obviously with the civil rights movement, it was something that was running throughout all of culture, and I think it just the same way whenever they create like German characters, they'll go Blitzkrieg or Tsunami for like a Japanese character. It's almost like they can't help but make the name super obvious or redundant in some way. But I think that was just the era. Tuskegee Airmen, sorry. Thank you, Slap People for Fun. See, Slap People for Fun probably is a super nice guy, father of two. Anyway, yes, the African American Museum is amazing. It's part of the Smithsonian. They actually have one of the aircraft of the airmen hanging inside as you walk inside this giant space. I think between the 3rd or 4th level, they've got one of the planes hanging from the sky. Okay. So Glooman, thank you very much for resubscribing. 79 Massimiliano. Hassan 16. Grayscale Stream. Racer 150 has cheered. Thank you for the bits. Jedi B 311. Hey Jim, thanks for sharing your time and art with us. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thanks for sharing your time on this holiday. Most people have the day off today. B4 Before Dreams has resubscribed, as has Snakebite DB. Oberto, Big LS Comic 77 have also resubscribed. Okay, so this is obviously a shot of Cyborg from the Justice League. I'm going to be doing a number of different African American character drawings today, but not just entirely limited to that or confined to that. So I want to look at something here online. Okay. All right. I'm actually looking forward to the Black Panther movie. I saw an Instagram trailer, which is an abbreviated version of the main trailer itself. Okay, in that it's only a minute long, and I had some really great scenes in it, and I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't seen that. I wish I kind of saw that in person live or whatever in the movie theater itself, and looks pretty cool. This marker is almost dead. Okay, Lance45 has cheered. Thank you very much, Lance. J. Piran83 has subscribed. Sorry, I'm trying to engage the mouth into moving. Steak Sauce has subscribed as well. Anyway, so this has been a crazy week for me in that I took the red eye to DC, and then, like I said, took the 7 a.m. flight, which meant waking up at 5 o'clock. And in a couple more days, I will be flying again Wednesday, back again Friday, then flying out again the following week to Orlando, Florida for the 35th anniversary of a store called Coliseum of Comics in Orlando. So if any of you guys, I think on the Discord channel, and I'll explain what that is in a second. I know several of you guys are coming out to that. That's a store signing. I do maybe one or two a year, but I'm happy to support Phil and Ryan Boyle and their efforts in Florida. Been tremendous supporters of DC and the comic book medium in their 3.5 decades of existence. And then after that, traveling again the following week. And then the following week after that. It's pretty insane. I don't think I've traveled this much since like the mid-90s, when I think I did like 6 appearances in like 8 weeks, 2 months or something crazy like that. So gotta pace myself a little bit. Oh, so the Discord channel is essentially one of the things I think Twitch, Twitch is great in terms of it's a video streaming format, and it's great for engagement because people can type into chat and you can interact with them live and actually kind of talk to them. And you can post about future events and thoughts in between if they come to your Twitch page. They might get a notice if they toggle that alert button. But there's no central place for people to kind of talk about the channel or things that they like or want to see happen, unless you're actually in chat, as far as I can tell. I mean, I guess you could post something up and then people could respond underneath, but it's not really built for that. And so we created a Discord channel, and Discord is it started out as a gaming site for people to essentially communicate with each other while they're playing a game, sort of bypassing the internal communication systems. of multiplayer games. But it has a number of different functionalities, and I think it's grown beyond that. And so there's a lot of cool things you can do. And in this Discord channel, which you can link to your Twitch account, you can, for example, introduce yourself to the rest of the community. You can showcase some of the art that you've collected or drawn yourself. Can organize and talk about meetups at different shows, etc., etc. And so there's a lot of stuff in there for people that subscribe and people that don't as well. But also has announcements and FAQs and all sorts of stuff. So, and that has been put together by our incredible mods, Kirihiko and Renelephant and Crispy. I don't know if Crispy's in the house. He's apparently in Tahoe. We can't all live the life of Crispy. The guy. Read the chat, Jimmy. I killed your ass, bro. Okay. Who you got in the Super Bowl? That's what you're asking me? That's what you want me to read the chat for? All I know is that the Vikings won yesterday. But I don't know who else is in the playoffs. I've just been so busy. I haven't had time to. That camera on the sketch is lagging hard. If you're finding it laggy, I would say go ahead and do a refresh of the page. See if that helps. But I'm looking at OBS here, and it's showing green, 0 drop frames. So I think it's from your guys' end, actually, to be honest, this time. So. So with this stream, obviously I'm drawing Cyborg, but I thought I would do is, 1 second, let me see if I can do something here. Okay. Stream Swimming Fish has subscribed. Thank you very much. Trevor Kai has resubscribed. Thank you. Loving the channel, Trevor. Robin Lin, Deo Yi. So thank you very much. Excuse me. So I'm going to do 2 things with this Cyborg sketch. I'm going to, 1, talk about sort of lighting. Not lightning, but lighting on human faces, sort of. And then I'm going to do a quick thing about drawing metal. And metal. I need to enunciate this morning. How are we doing here? Interesting. I do see it kind of, I see what you guys are saying. But there are people who are saying that they're not really experiencing that, so. But top camera is laggy. Alright. Here's what I have to do, guys. For me to fix this, and I would like to fix it, I'm going to have to stop the stream, and all I have to do is adjust the video feed. It's basically coming in at 1920 by 1280. And so, so just come right back, okay?